Hello, good afternoon, good evening. It's 3 p.m. in sunny El Salvador, and it's 10 p.m. in UK London. I'm just going to check to make sure my sound is okay, because last time I was streaming, there was a little bit of a robot. I'll make sure I'm not roboting again. So let me just check that on my phone while I'm here. Is that the live? Live, that's live. Let me see. Yeah, that's perfect. That works. All right. So what are we going to look at today? Well, let's have a look at Bitcoin. We'll have a look at TRVL. We'll have a look at alt season as well. Those kind of three things I want to look at. As you can see, sorry, I'm on the wrong chart right now. Let me go into the correct chart. So what's going on with Bitcoin? What's happening with Bitcoin? Let's have a look at Bitcoin. And let's go straight in. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first have a look at these daily candles, right? So yesterday we had, it's not a bad candle actually. It was a close higher than the previous day low. And as you can see today, the price has gone up all the way up to the previous day high. We've taken out the previous day high. And so we got a little bit of a range bound candle. It looked pretty bearish, but actually this is not so bearish for me. This doesn't look so bearish. Let's have a look at the weekly candle. And as you can see with the weekly candle, this is looking pretty good because we had a lower close last week. It was pretty bearish. And then today, this week, we've gone up all the way to the top of the previous week high. And we sold into that. And we're kind of holding somewhere in the middle. So I think what I want to see on Bitcoin is a close above the previous week 50 fib. This is, for me, that's really quite important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that out. Let me get rid of these volume levels now and redraw those in a second. And in fact, what I do is I look at the body of the previous week. And do a full fib on that. And what I'm looking for this week is a close above 110,832 on Bybit USD, Bybit perpetuals. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And that for me would be a piercing candle. That's what I want to see, a piercing candle. I think that would be a bullish reversal potential. Piercing candle. The next week would have to be green too. So I'm going to mark that out, 110832. Okay, and get rid of that. Add a weekly close above this level, please. Okay. Let's see what that looks like on the lower time frame charts. So that's the weekly, previous weekly body 50 fib. But look at, we've already found support. You see that? We've already found support there. So you see right now that level is acting as support. We just need to close above that level, which is the previous week 50 fib of the body of the previous week, not the wick to wick, the body. Okay. So that's really important. That's a really important close for this week. And you see it has acted as support there as well in the past. So it is a relevant level. And when you see levels like that respected, then you have to take note. You have to pay attention. If we can get a close above that level, then I would consider this week as a piercing candle, which is a bullish, it's a reversal. And then next week would have to be green as well. We'd have to have a follow through with another green candle next week. And so we'd still have a week of chop potentially, or it could expand to the upside. Either way, that's what you want to see. And also if that happens, and this week is a green week, which is good because that green week gives us this new weekly level. So let me just bring my levels in. I'll go to the daily chart. That one is washed. Get rid of that. Get rid of these wash levels. This is a new daily level there. So let me mark that out. Daily, 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 daily. Monthly, is the monthly still there? Yep, the monthly's still there. The weeklies, one weekly there, and then we got a new weekly here. So actually what you end up with is a really strong level where you have a weekly and a daily on the same place effectively. It's a really strong, becomes a really strong liquidity level. And so potentially you could go down, if the price needs to, it could go down for liquidity, capture liquidity, and then hopefully go up, assuming that we close above this weekly level. This level that I've marked out now. Let me update my volume levels. I'm going to do a local volume. That's not going to change because it's a higher range. Let's go for the higher range volume. What is that rubbish? Value area low is a little bit lower. Point of control, value area high, no real changes. Okay, so we have our volume right now. And what else do we want to have a look at? Probably single prints. Did I have that? Where's my single prints folder? Can't see. There it is. So we have single prints there above us. And then we have the naked points of control. So we still have the strong resistance area. That's going to be a real test when, if and when the price goes up. Nope. See, I had it going lower and it hasn't gone down that far. And I actually think that's the short, huh? That's the real big short. That still applies. You've got a shit ton of liquidity there. You've got a lot of people shorting that level. Because that will come into the golden pocket as well. So you have a really strong short area here. And that was my Friday analysis. And that is obviously, at the moment, it's very far from potentially having, probably not, because I think possibly, depending on how we close on the weekly chart, we'll probably go up to clear that liquidity that's higher up above us. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Depending on how we close, I don't see why we don't go up to take that liquidity. And I don't know if we go down to go up or if we go up to go down first. And then the other thing I want to have a look at here is the CME gap. So it closed at 112,060. 112,060. So we have a little bit of a gap above us as well. See that? There you go. So there is a I mean, the price could go up, fill the gap, go down, capture the liquidity. Let's get rid of this. If we close above this weekly close, go up, fill the gap, go all the way down, bam, capture the liquidity for and then pump. 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 Kind of something like that would be interesting to see. Go up, fill the gap, go all the way down, capture liquidity, bam, 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 and then hold support for a higher low here, and then really nice pump. Assuming the assumption here is that the weekly close is higher than that level that I've indicated. It's kind of where I'm at right now. So whether it does or not, it's irrelevant. The idea is a long. I think you kind of want it to hit, even though the golden pocket could also hit, always hit and go up. And you could clear the liquidity at these for a swing failure here. You want a swing failure for sure. You want to take that level. I don't know how this is going to play out, but you want an invalidation. It could go down or whatever, or it could just hold. Just a swing failure could be enough. And then you kind of want it to go basically all the way to those highs, to take those highs out. And then again, you're in got a short there. Whatever. Something like that. Who knows? Maybe to the breakout level, whatever. Wherever there's a little breakout initially, and then afterwards you have to see. So effectively, that's what you're looking at. And obviously the CME gap is there, and it's always possible to have a little sell-off at the CME gap. Like that. It's kind of what I'm thinking right now. That's assuming we go down to take that liquidity. Of course, the price could go up and whatever, but I don't see why not. I don't see why we don't go down to clear that liquidity, to go up, to hit that liquidity higher up, and then we have to see what happens next. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now with this. Just looking at the charts quickly. Sunday analysis, really quick analysis for BTC today. And so that kind of gives me an idea that maybe we go down and up, and then that'll be a real nice pump, and then everyone's going to get bullish for a lower high, and then maybe we reject again. So we have to see how that plays out on everything else. And then, you know, it's always possible to V-shape recovery. Yeah, it's always possible from here, however this plays out, to trap short, not trap shorts, but squeeze shorts, because there's so much liquidity, and it depends. It depends on how the market responds to this move. Yeah, in the upwards direction. We have to see how that plays out. But there are single prints, and they can fill very quickly. And if they do fill very quickly, you could end up with a V-shaped recovery, taking out the all-time high again. It's possible. And you know, based on this, if that was to happen, you could end up with an inverse head and shoulders. You know, because you could end up down, and then, you know, you could end up with something crazy like that, and then the whole market will get bullish. They'll be looking at that and going, shit, there's an inverse head and shoulders forming at all-time highs. Could we get a breakout to 130k? So that's kind of like, it's future ideas. Who knows what's going to happen? But you just take it step by step. First instance is the CME gap, then it's this liquidity lower down, and then it's rallying to that liquidity, and then seeing how the price behaves. While I'm here, I'm going to have a look at the order flow on XO charts as well. I can't see any bearish divergences at the moment. And clearly there was bullish divergences. Look, here it's the 7th of September. Here at 10 a.m. there was bullish divergences. You see the CVD is going down. The price isn't going down, it's going sideways. So you're getting quite heavy accumulation here on this local range. And so we have to see how that's actually quite bullish. It's really bullish to see that. So I'm feeling quite bullish. We're up above the VWAP, we're above the D open, it's going sideways, we're getting bullish CVD. I'm feeling quite bullish, and let's see how the weekly time frame close happens, and that's be analyzing that on Tuesday, reanalyzing that on Tuesday. So that's kind of my Bitcoin stream for today, and let's see what happens with Bitcoin. How does that reflect in alt season? Because everyone's interested about alt season and ETH. I don't mind ETH's close, actually. If we can close above the previous week low, I don't mind it, huh? It's always okay to take the liquidity from a previous week low and then close above it. I think that's okay. So it is possible to see a little consolidation, weekly consolidation reversal here. Whereas ETH BTC, on the other hand, looks much worse. You see that? So ETH BTC is pulling back while ETH is okay. So the value is going back into BTC. So I wonder if we do get like a pullback on ETH BTC, continuous pullback, while BTC kind of grinds up until ETH BTC finally comes back into some meaningful support. It's decreasing volume on this as the price tapers off. And we're losing the point of control, which is in the high of this kind of area of interest. So yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? So ETH BTC doesn't look great. So the value's going into BTC, but BTC going up is pulling up the rest of the market naturally, and that is what matters now. So right now ETH is holding BTC high, and we have to see how that plays out. Okay, how does that reflect on some of these other tokens? Well, like ENA is having a really strong bullish engulfing week. Yeah, Solana's looking okay with a piercing candle there. Let's quickly have a look at Quanex. So Quanex had a little bit of sell-off, took the liquidities from the low, which I indicated before, and it looks like we're getting a little reaction there, but the volume is decreasing, so we have to see how that plays out. Let's have a look at these other ones. No, not interested. Yeah, all right, and then I'm going to do TRVL now. That's kind of coming into a real important support zone. Looks like we're losing that trend line actually, so that's quite interesting. We have to see how that plays out. So that's kind of Bitcoin and ETH and alt season. I'm going to go straight into TRVL, and so it's not looking as lovely as we want it to, is it? And this is a challenge. It's a challenge because people aren't sure what do you do next. Yeah. I indicated a rejection from the highs before, but who knows where the price is going to find support. I updated this trend line. I kind of imagined it maybe there. Then I kind of updated it a little bit just to kind of have give it a little bit room. And I saw how it was coming into the golden pocket, and you have this anchored VWAP. And look, we haven't flipped it into resistance yet, but we've kind of losing the anchored VWAP. We've lost it before here, and the price still went up. And here we lost it, and the price still went up, but we had to find support from the anchored VWAP to go up. And so I think it's important to note that whatever happens here, we're going to have to find support off the anchored VWAP to make TRVL go up. That trend line, it's obviously not holding, and this is potentially a problem with, again, with illiquid tokens. You know, when you get a little bit of a sell-off, it really does go down. The liquidity is minimal. The problem here on the weekly time frame is decreasing prices, increasing volume slightly. That's slightly problematic because that is quite bearish, but doesn't mean that we're going to go to the zero. Okay, it just means that we're getting a little bit more selling than the rest of the market right now. So people are feeling a little bit nervous. The 3-day chart though was decreasing prices and slightly decreasing. It was still quite high, slightly decreasing volume. And then let's have a look at the monthly. You see the monthly, we've come all the way back down right now to the golden pocket. We're basically coming all the way down to capture liquidity, and ultimately that's what this is. This is a liquidity run on TRVL. We had such huge volume last month, and right now people are selling. They sold into that monthly open, and right now the price is coming down for liquidity. And today, recently, we had this kind of slow sell off, consolidating, and bam, a little bit of selling here. How much is that selling? Let's have a look at the selling there. 3.5 million, 3.9 million, about 4.5, 7.5, 8, maybe 9 million TRVL in the last 3 hours across all the exchanges. So it's not much, 9 million TRVL. In the scale of things, it's not that much. Let me update this volume. And so we are in the right place for TRVL to find support. But naturally what needs to happen is the buying needs to step up. The buying can only step up once the selling stops. And that's what I've noticed with TRVL in the past. What we need now is for the selling to stop. And so right now people are looking at this and they're thinking, when should I buy? Well, they're just going to wait for the selling to stop. And you'll know when the selling stops, because usually you round at the bottom and you stop seeing this kind of selling. The price just fails to go down. And right now you can see on the local time frame, we're putting in lower lows and lower highs. So is my idea of an inverse head and shoulder invalidated? Not yet. It's still not yet invalidated, but as time passes, if we can't form a right shoulder here, then it's gonna become invalidated, and so that's the test, we have to see what happens next. How do we form was that it? Was that the right shoulder, or are we looking at something a little bit more bigger? Who knows? And if we are looking at something bigger, and hopium is not, I'm not trying to hope this to happen. I mean, it'd be nice if it happened, but do we go down to the overall golden pocket? There's not much confluence there, and we lose this kind of this trend line. So where does the price find support is a real question. Does it come down to the monthly open to find support? And that would be, that's like another 10% down, It's another 10% down. But you know, with Bitcoin, everything changes, and so sentiment changes. If people see that Bitcoin is rejecting, people will sell their altcoins, and once they see Bitcoin finding strength, then they'll start accumulating their altcoins. But TRVL is a different beast, and I think that's kind of why I do these streams. The analysis is basically for fun. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I'm just keeping a little bit of spotlight on TRVL. I still think this whole thing is bullish, even though right now people might be thinking, oh my God, it's going down. And I've given reasons for that. We have increasing volume, increasing prices on the monthly time frame. Last month, we had the most volume ever. And so for me, this is just a pullback until the month end, and then we'll know exactly what this next monthly candle is. And naturally, with these pullbacks, it's just going down until it finds some kind of support, and then people will start buying again. Okay, no one knows how that's going to play out, but it could go all the way down to put in a higher low and then go right back up. And we have to see how ultimately we have to see how the monthly closes. But you know, this weekly isn't looking great, is it? And it's not looking great because we are potentially closing underneath a weekly level here. I'll show you. See that? So we have some levels here of liquidity where the price has failed to find support. See that? So we had that weekly level. Look at that. The price did try to find support there and then sold into. Okay. And Now we're kind of underneath this daily level, so we're losing these kind of initial liquidity levels that exist. And in a sense, you could argue we've reversed the volume of this last move. We're back into this little consolidation range here. So I don't expect the price to just go down like that. I do think whatever happens will be here for a little bit. And maybe we can bottom out here to form a right shoulder. That's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment, but we would have to retake that weekly level to go up. That's really important. Whatever happens here, we're going to have to get back above that weekly level. We're going to have to get back above that anchored VWAP. That's going to be really important to see what happens with the price. If we are to just consolidate here and bottom here on this right shoulder for a higher low. Otherwise, you take the low and you are in a bullish, we kind of form a little bit of a bullish harmonic here. You take the low, you go up, and then you're kind of looking to go down, still go down. Yeah, we're not looking to go up, we're still looking to go down. We have to see how this plays out. We are looking at an illiquid, relatively illiquid token. If you think about the price of TRVL since the 6th of July when I restarted my streams, right now the price of TRVL is 55% higher. It went all the way up to 136% higher, and it's at 55% higher. And we are kind of here, aren't we? We're in this kind of area. We're putting in volume in this area. The most volume ever has been put into this area. Let's have a look at the volume here. And when you look at this overall area, we're back into the range. And actually you see that the point of control of this area is much lower than where we are now. It's, there again, 10% lower, 10% lower. Does that line up with... What do you think? Golden pocket is just underneath it, and so unless we can find support here, which would be great for a higher low, and get back above that anchored VWAP, then you know you have the potential for going back down here and trying to find support here. And so that's kind of coming into the golden pocket, a previous monthly level and daily levels. But that's actually the most important level here is the point of control, the actual most volume put into this area. You see that? The most volume put into this whole area. Could the price come back to the point of control to find support? Absolutely, it could find it. Ultimately, what needs to happen for the price to explode to the upside is for the price to get back above this value area high, find support, and then you have liftoff. So that would be great. If it went down lower, it's basically the point of control. And that trend line is non-existent anymore. It doesn't really exist. The price has kind of ignored it. So because the price has ignored it, I'm not respecting it. Prices ignored it. So when prices ignore potential trend lines, you have to just ignore those trend lines. You can pay attention if you get a reaction. And so that's kind of where I'm at with TRVL right now. Let's just have a look again at the weekly time frame candle. Yeah, it's not looking great, that one. Can't. Just have to see where the price finds support. Technically, it's still okay in a sense. Why? Because in a sense, I'll show you why. Just hide these. Oh. Because you could argue that you're in an inside, it's an inside range of that that red candle, and so you're still just trading inside the range, and you're inside the range of this candle. Yeah, so you could argue it's okay still, and we've kind of, but at the same time, it doesn't give people confidence that you've got increasing volume of decreasing prices, and that's really important. It's quite a lot of volume actually in this downward pressure. See that? 300, 340. about 740 million TRVL in the last 2 weeks, and it's downward pressure, which has reduced the price by the top to here about 27%. 27%. The price went up 34% the previous week on 60 million volume. So you've got increasing volume to push this price down. In a sense, you could argue that's also quite bullish because you've got more volume and the price is still struggling to go down. But again, I think right now with Bitcoin is really important to see what happens with Bitcoin. So go and have a look at my Bitcoin video. It could still be some kind of inverse head and shoulders here. It could, huh? But although that head doesn't quite work correctly, does it? So I'm not 100%. Maybe people are thinking a double bottom. I don't like that we've lost this trend line. So that's, for me, that's a little bit troublesome. But it wasn't respected at all. So maybe not. Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. It's not. We kind of need it to. We need to see a reaction. We need to see buying, and until we see buying, it's going to be hard to buy. But at least we're getting volume, and so it's important to get volume. And our volume has obviously increased significantly. And look at the 3-month candle. Whatever happens, that 3-month candle is going to be bullish. Yeah, unless of course it ends red, because it'll be an inverse hammer with really crazy volume. So it's a really bullish. There's 23 days left on that candle, unless of course we close lower than the previous candle, and that will be catastrophic. I don't want to say that that's going to happen. I don't believe that's going to happen. So let's have a look at the 2-month candles as well. It'd be nice for this candle to be green as well if we push up. This 2-month candle. We have to see what happens next here. And then the other thing is that D-Travel made an announcement today. And I don't know if people saw that announcement. I'm just going to pull it on my other screen. I'm not sure if it was posted on the X page or not. Let me just have a look at the D-Travel X page. No. All right, I'm going to pull it up. I got an email. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you without trying to hide some stuff. I can't actually hide. What I'll do is I'll copy and paste it. I can't paste it. I'm trying to hide my stuff. So got an email, so you should all be on the email list. My screen's a little bit dark here, so I don't know why. And paste it here. Actually, I can read the update on the website, so that's even better. So I got an email, but actually I just realized that I can read it on the website because there's a link. So it's actually a new blog post. There you go. New pricing plans to power your growth. Starting September the 17th, D-Travel will introduce new pricing plans for all hosts. We're giving you more choice and more control over your business while keeping D-Travel the most powerful direct booking platform in the market at an affordable price. Starting September the 17th, D-Travel will introduce new pricing plans for all hosts. Our flat 3% fee has been popular but is not sustainable for the long term. To keep building the tools you rely on while remaining at a fraction of the cost of both direct booking solutions and major OTAs like Airbnb, we're rolling out a new tiered model. This new approach gives you choice, flexibility, and more ways to save as your business grows. What's changing? New pricing tiers. There's a starter plan, a pro plan, and an enterprise plan. You can see the details there. And one is free. So there is a free plan. So for most people, not to panic. And then the pro plan, for up to 4 listings, it's $19 per month with reduced per listing fees. Okay, so that's quite interesting. And then the enterprise plan with at least 200 properties. And this gives you the different options and it tells you why. So quick snapshot. The starter plan, $0 per month, and so the fees are going up to 5% on direct bookings, and then the referred bookings are bookings that come from other websites such as TRVL. And I think the incentive is to get onto TRVL, but to give them a little cut, so to speak. And here you see the pro plan is 0 fee on direct bookings, so you're actually saving 5%. So the question is, do people get bookings? And if they do, is it worth them subscribing to get the additional 5% reduction once you reach 5k in monthly booking volume? I don't know if that refers to historic volume or if it's a reset on your volume. That would be an interesting question. Probably you'll start fresh, I'm guessing. I don't know. And then 5% fee on Google Vacation Rentals, and then the enterprise plan. So that's it. And then you've got the frequently asked questions. So you can go in there and have a look at all those questions and answers. And so this is an initiative to kind of mix it up a little bit. Final thoughts. We know pricing changes can feel big, but this update is built around one idea: giving you more choice and more control over your business while keeping DTRVL the most powerful direct booking platform in the market at an affordable price. Thank you for helping us build the future of direct bookings. And that's what you have to understand, is that we're going to have to make some significant improvements in DTRVL to impact the business side of DTRVL, and that will inadvertently impact the token price. And this is a good thing. RH says the new mic sounds amazing. Hey, it's the old mic. I'm just putting it in front of my face, whereas before I wasn't putting it in front of my face. Does that make sense? I've posted the link to DTRVL here in chat. I don't know if you can see it. You can't see it. Shit, I don't know where my I don't know why you can't see the links. I should have tested that. That's why. Let's try that. That will work. Let's try that. Does that work? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, I did BTC RH right at the beginning of the video. I'm gonna cut it into a video. So anyway, this is DTRVL starting September the 17th. I'm honestly right now I feel that it's whatever happens now is positive, because DTRVL is changing. I've talked about DTRVL changing. The leadership has changed or changing or changed. It's changed now, but I've been talking about the leadership changing for a long time, and we're getting increasing volume on the monthly time frame. Now we're getting a little bit of a pullback, which is normal when you get an increase in price from the lows, 100% or whatever. And we're still looking at a low liquid token, but we're getting really nice up volume, and so far the down volume has been less. So it's an opportunity. This is an opportunity to pick up this token. I'm here in El Salvador. There's a massive initiative about to be launched here in El Salvador. And this is kind of what I wanted to share with you guys. And I don't think people really understand the extent of what we're about to do here in El Salvador. I'll just quickly have a look at the Telegram before I go on to that. New booking site, new booking. Basically, I'm here on a mission to bring the whole of El Salvador onto DTRVL there's a real opportunity here for us, because El Salvador is a small country and it's crypto booming. Yeah, and you have to kind of come out here and live here to understand that. And so while I've been here since April. I went back to London for a month, and there's a lot of properties here that are on the short vacation rental market. And El Salvador is becoming a little bit of a central location where people travel to and through Central America. People are traveling, and it's also becoming a real destination because you've got volcanoes, you've got lakes, and you've got the surfing on the coast, which is all volcanic sand, lots of volcanoes, lots of Mayan temples and history. So we have a lot of things going on in El Salvador. And when I first came here, there was no properties, and we finally managed to get 2 properties with 4 listings on to D-Travel. And there's going to be a massive initiative here in D-Travel to bring the whole of El Salvador onto D-Travel. And this is kind of one of our short-term objectives. And then once we do that, we're going to expand to Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, like the whole lot, Central South America. We're going to go crazy. And what we've noticed is that there's a lot of American visitors, travelers going to Central South America for vacations and holidays. And there's going to be a massive initiative, and that is going to be with the aim of expanding and growing the real world network. And I keep on talking about the real world network. You can go and have a look. The link is there. I'm going to paste it in to chat so you can have a look for yourself. And you can see that we have 5,429 listings. What we want to do is we want to pump that up to 25,000. And we want a massive grassroots. What I'm doing is building a grassroots initiative here to build it from the ground up and get D-Travel recognized and known in Central South America. And that's what we're that's what we're thinking about. That's what we're planning. That's what we're organizing. I don't work for D-Travel. I'm just here because I wanted to move to El Salvador anyway, and I saw a real opportunity for growth and expansion here, and a real kind of gap in the market. People use Airbnb, but Airbnb and Booking.com have really high fees, very high, significantly high compared to the value of the dollar here. The dollar is really valuable here. The wages are quite low, and also there's a lot of bank charges as well. And so there's a real opportunity here to grow and expand D-Travel. And so we're looking at really going full blast El Salvador to boost this number of listings. I think once people start seeing this number go up and up and up and up, and it's already gone up a lot, but to see it start going up, I think that's going to get a lot of investors interested in picking up the TRVL token, because we'll be using El Salvador as a test bed for some other initiatives that we have in mind, which may include some new tokenomics ideas or some initiatives to incentivize people from the grassroots level up to grow and expand the D-Travel network. So we have a lot of things brewing with El Salvador, and ultimately it will be nice that if D-Travel becomes a significant player in Central South America, and that will expand to the rest of the world. And that's kind of what we're imagining right now and potentially manifesting in the next few weeks. And so keep your eye on this space. I'll be streaming more and more about El Salvador. I'm talking more and more about El Salvador as time passes. I'll be kind of your D-Travel El Salvador news broadcast, and maybe when I get a proper setup somewhere, a permanent setup, we'll have a really nice view of behind me, whereas right now you can see it's a little bit sunny, but I've got kind of like a glass window in a room behind me rather than something beautiful. So this is kind of what we're doing. Go and have a look at Telegram. Keep active in there. There's not much activity there, probably because the price has been pulling back, and so when the price pulls back, it's always slow to go up. But then when the price starts going up, people start to get active in Telegram. And then obviously there's a lot of things happening in the back burner, and there's a lot of updates coming, and it's about to get really busy with hosted events as well in El Salvador, and lots of things happening. So keep an eye on the X page. And if you want to reach out, you can reach out to me on my videos or my X page. Work continues, like nothing, just because we're about to kind of maybe focus a little bit on Central South America, doesn't change anything from the rest of the world. We still have Andrea and James here in Indonesia, and they're working in Bali. And so we are growing the network, grassroots, on the ground level, promoting, expanding D-Travel. And right now, the team is small, and I'm a volunteer, obviously. But in the future, I think once we incentivize the grassroots, the people, to push and promote D-Travel, then we're going to have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people in the real world doing the work, pushing, promoting D-Travel. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to create something that explodes D-Travel and TRVL. And in the future, what I'm imagining, I don't know when it's going to happen. I imagine in the future you're going to get a God candle, like a big, crazy, high volume candle, which is going to be significant. Right now, we're just consolidating. Yeah, we got a lot of volume, so we've got a big buy. I think this is the bottom, but obviously we're getting a pullback, so it kind of freaks people out a little bit. And then we have to see how this could this go sideways for a while. It could. Yeah, it is possible that we go sideways for a while. Yeah, and ultimately what we want to do is expand and grow the real world network so much that we're just going to get natural growth and interest in the token and D-Travel outside of Bitcoin and crypto. And that's really the aim of what we're trying to do, is something very different, very new. If it's possible, what we're going to do is blow this up so that in the future it won't even matter whether Bitcoin is at all-time highs or if it's dropping, because what we have is this going up. This is the number that ultimately matters. Number of listings and the cumulative GMV. If that starts to go up and 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 up, then it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter about the rest of crypto, because now you have an economy, you have a token-based economy which is growing and growing and growing, and it's exponentially growing. And that's the future that I'm envisioning, and that's actually where D-Travel are. They're imagining that future where actually this is the bottom, and in the future we're gonna explode. And honestly, I don't see why we can't go to all-time highs. I don't see why we can't do it. We've built the network. We've spent 4 years building the network, 3 years taking bookings, and now what we're doing is we're growing this network to make it substantial. So that's kind of my D-Travel TRVL update. Is it a good time to buy? Yes, it's absolutely a good time to buy. Not financial advice. It's actually a good time to buy, and it's a good place to buy. Yeah, even though you're seeing selling. I think if people are worried, then it's best as a scale in and dollar cost average in. As always, I say that. Not financial advice. And it's always best to put limit orders, not market buying, so we can prevent the price going down. But here you can see there's a little bit of, it's coming into a little bit of support. You see that? Look at that. It's just taking out the low there. It's just taking out the lows. We're finding a little bit of support here. So I think we'll probably, whatever happens, we'll probably be here for a while now. Just simply because when the price does kind of come into an area where it's been before, it's come into that area now, it'll probably be here for a while before it figures out what it wants to do. Usually that's what happens when the price goes fast, down fast. Usually when it goes up fast. And then when the price comes into an area where it's been before, usually what happens, it will just kind of linger here for a little bit. Usually it's about the same period of time or thereabouts. And then we have to see if we can break out, then we can probably create that right shoulder, which I've been talking about. Obviously, it's always possible to go down, so no one knows what's going to happen next. Could it go down? Yeah, it could also go down. Doesn't change anything from the fundamentals of the business. Have I sold? No, I haven't sold. I'm not selling. Yeah, if anything, I'm looking to buy more. The way I buy is on a time basis. Yeah, so not based on price. I base it on time. And so I might wait months before I buy more. My long-term plan for TRVL and D-Travel is continued buying. Continued buying non-stop buying, buy, 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 buy. Yeah, I don't really care where the price is, because ultimately what I'm looking at is the number of TRVL I have, because I know one day this will explode and we will be at all-time highs. Yeah, I know that. I strongly believe that. That's why I stream. That's why I'm doing these streams 3 times a week. That's why I put in all the work, and I'm not even employed by D-Travel, because I really believe in the future of this decentralized real world network, which is it can be a keen competitor to Airbnb. We can take chunks out of Airbnb. And I've told people about my background. You know, I'm a 4.99 star super host on Airbnb, nearly 10 years hosting here, 184 reviews. 4.99 stars on Airbnb is really difficult. I don't know if people realize that. It's bloody hard. And it's basically 5 stars, basically, for 9-10 years. It's really hard to get. And that's my background. That's my experience. I'm bringing all of that knowledge and background and experience and excellence in my field to D-Travel, because I truly believe that D-Travel is going to be big one day. It's going to be so big that we will probably be bigger than Airbnb, probably. Yeah, especially when we implement a token economy, a real token economy in the future. And so the previous tokenomics, dare I say, it was trash, wasn't it? It was trash. It was rubbish. And the market reacted to it. And so you just kind of ignore it a little bit. Ignore the previous tokenomics. And so don't worry about the tokenomics for now, because that will change and it will be excellent in the future. That's kind of what I'm imagining. Everything's changed. Everything is changing, and everything will change to make this a mammoth in the future. That's the previous tokenomics. Whatever, stake to boost. What is that? Stake to earn. It's just made up, really. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. Whoever made this was dreaming of something else. Was dreaming of some kind of crazy idea, but it doesn't make sense. What we need is a tokenomics which benefits people, which changes people's lives, and people who contribute and participate and grow D-Travel. That's what we need. Whether it's hosts, whether it's travelers, whether it's people sharing, expanding D-Travel, or whether it's investors investing in D-Travel. That's what we need for our tokenomics, our new tokenomics model. Yeah. So anyone who contributes to D-Travel benefits, and they bring the value, whether it's energy, whether it's time, whether it's properties, whether it's bookings, whatever, and then they will benefit, and then that is how we grow our token economy. So in the future, you can imagine a future where people might not go to a 9-to-5. They might just go and work for D-Travel in this new token economy. It's tokenized economy. It's a DAO. It's like an invisible economy, but it's a real world network which serves travel, decentralized travel across the whole world. And that's the future that I'm imagining. This is the beginning. What we're building now with this decentralized peer-to-peer vacation rental network is the beginning of the future. Yeah, this isn't the end. This is the beginning. We're building this first, and then once we build this, we can build the next layer and build the next layer, and then we're going to have this mammoth. And that you can only do that in Web3. You can only do that with a token-based economy, with your native token, chain agnostic token. And right now, what we want to do is we want to build this real world network, make this as big as possible in Central South America. And that's, as I've said, that's why I'm here in El Salvador, to kind of make this explode and then take it to the next level. So watch this space, keep an eye on my streams, keep an eye on D-Travel and the website and the stats, and don't get too obsessed about the price. Is it going to? No, it's not going to zero. Yeah, it's not going to go to D-Travel's not going anywhere. It feels like it, doesn't it? And I think it's a hard one, isn't it? Because right now people are panicking a little bit. You can tell a little bit of panic because it feels like we've lost this trend line, doesn't it? It's a hard one, isn't it? People then, should I sell? Should I? But I always say it's good to take profit. It's good to take a little bit of profit at the highs. I always say that. it's good to take profit at the highs a little bit, so you can re-add. But if you're not bothered about taking profit, then just buy the dips. You know, accumulate the dips, dollar cost average over a period of time. That's the best way to accumulate any token. And in the case of TRVL and D-Travel, a low liquid token, that's the best way. Again, not financial advice. All right, so I think that's it. My stream has been almost an hour, and thanks for joining me, RH, and anyone else who watches this video. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your time, and hopefully that was informative. Let me just have a look at this volume here. Look, actually, we're coming back to this overall point of control. This is interesting, huh? Because I don't think we've actually tested it correctly. I haven't looked at this. Look, that was a resistance. We haven't really tested it properly. So I do wonder if we are getting a bullish harmonic here. Let me just map it out for you. This is the last thing I'll do. Sorry, got a little bit distracted with myself. Copy image. I am seeing a little bit of a harmonic here. A bat, huh? A little bit of a bat forming here. See that there? You kind of end up, in this scenario, you end up taking those lows, finding support, and then you get a bullish reaction. Or it's a Gartley if you take it from this pivot low here. Do you see that? See the Gartley there? It's a bit of a steep one. Usually Gartleys are less steep. But you have a little bit of either a bat or a Gartley forming. Probably a bat is better. Let me just time it. Tuesday or Sunday. Tuesday or Sunday. We have to see. Probably Tuesday, actually. Probably Tuesday. Does that invalidate the right shoulder? It's a tricky one. It may. But you are in a bullish harmonic here, where if you kind of hit there, take that low, you're going up to 50 fib potentially. It'll take us back up to this level. We have to see how impulsive that is. So that's kind of the idea right now, just based on what I'm seeing. If we do find support, take out those lows here. Let me just have a look at this. So that's assuming we don't hold here, because the different idea would be if we just hold here, hold here, hold here. Yeah. So no one really knows what's going to happen, and then that's the inverse end shoulder. Forget that. So the item. So we have there's a few levels here. Got some daily levels where the price could find support. Yeah. There's a few levels here where it could find support, and let's just see what happens. And so really, it looks like the price is aiming for the point of control just for a test. And that's at 007625, and that's probably about 9% lower than where we currently are. All right, So let's just keep an eye on that. Sorry, I went back into the charts because I saw that just when I got rid of everything. And whatever happens, I'm always looking to accumulate more. I'm not looking to sell. Never selling TRVL. I've already said that. I've always said that. Buy. I'll be buying until we reach all-time highs. Yeah, in the future. And I think there's a lot of people like that actually. And that's what people don't realize. There's a lot of people come and trade and they make their quick gains and they go, not realizing that actually you've got people who are buying until all-time highs. Yeah, because they truly believe in what's happening with D-Travel. And the real world network that we're building, and they can see the work that's being done on the ground and with the network and with the number of listings and the operator signups, etc. They can see the work that's being done. All right, that's it for today. If you like that, appreciate that, just click like and share. That would be kind of you. All right, I'll see you on Tuesday.